Hello, I'm Emma of Granola Gear, and thank you for joining me with this little podcast update about what I've been working on. I hope you're settled down with some knitting, some tea. I know that's, like many of us, one of my favorite things to do in the morning. If there's a podcast up of someone I like to watch, love to sit down with my coffee in the morning and a whip and get cranking. So I'm here with my tea as well to talk to you about a few finished objects, a few works in progress. I kind of went a little cast on crazy this month, and I don't have any acquisitions. So I thought I'd just tell you about the book I'm reading. Why not? If I've got time, at least. Hopefully, I don't get too warm in this sweater, which is a cashmere April cardigan that I knit a little while ago, like last year sometime. It's knit in a unraveled sweater yarn, so I did not buy the cashmere other than like a $5 sweater because that's would be really expensive otherwise. Cashmere is super awesome, but it's super duper expensive. So that's what this is. I love it. It's such a cute little easy piece to throw on. Love it in the wintertime. It's very light. This is probably a little lighter than a DK weight yarn, which is what the pattern calls for. I think I knit a size medium instead of, I typically go for the size small for petite knit patterns. So that's just how it worked out with the yarn. But yeah, I'll get into my finished objects first. I actually have two things that I counted as finished objects in the last video, but one of them wasn't blocked yet, and I think that made a difference. And the other one also wasn't blocked, but I also had to make an edit, so I'll tell you about that. And the first one is my Monday sweater. This was not the one that had to have an edit, but this is blocked now. I'll put up a little B-roll of me trying it on. I love this guy still. She's so, so beautiful. So, so, so soft. I love all the colors, love all the stripes, love how she turned out, loved how she blocked out. The mohair kept the superwash from growing too much, which was kind of the goal, and filled it out. So this is a perfect spring top. It's nice and airy. The mohair kind of like gives it a little bit of warmth still without being too stifling in the springtime when it's kind of up and down as far as temperature. The other thing is my Eva cardigan, and I actually fully blocked this and added the buttons, and then I realized that I actually put the buttonholes in totally the wrong place. You know how with a V-neck cardigan, you're supposed to start the top button at where, oops, sorry, big truck going by. You're supposed to start the first buttonhole at the last increase as you're working down the cardigan. I totally misjudged that apparently, and I put it way too high, so the neck was like this big with all the buttons closed, so I had to undo half the button band. I mean, it's wide enough that I had, it was like 4 or 5 rows, sorry if I bumped the mic, before the buttonholes. So I had to undo that and redo it. So now the button band's a little scrunched up again and not as nice looking because I need to re-block it. But the buttonholes are in the correct place now, and I just have to reattach the buttons when I get to that. I think I may have, in redoing this, done like one fewer row of the button band than I was supposed to because I had more yarn left over than what I had originally used. But honestly, I don't care that much, and I think it's fine. I don't think my mom's gonna notice because this is a present for my mom. This one was knit in Drops Lima. I really like how it turned out. I love that yarn. It's a nice like balance of the soft of the alpaca and the like hardiness, the stiffness of the wool. It gives a really good drape. I highly recommend. So then I have 2 other works in progress. I don't think I had, not works in progress, sorry, finished objects. I don't think I had started either of these in the last video. I'm pretty sure I didn't. First one is some vanilla socks that I came up with myself with a Fleegle heel in the Rosa Pomar Mondine. I have a bad habit of knitting socks way too big. I think it started because in all the sock patterns I was reading, the like typical circumference, like number of stitches around for a light fingering yarn on a size 1 needle was like 64. And I think I probably have pretty narrow feet. I don't know, they're not wide. But then the other day I was watching Laura Penrose's podcast, and she was talking about how many stitches she cast on for a sock, and I think it was something like 58. And I was like, is that what's normal? Like, would that make my socks fit correctly? So that's what I'm trying next. One of my works in progress is an attempt with that, because I don't know, this looks like a wide sock to me and it's really way too big on me. I ended up, these fit my husband and his feet are like way bigger than mine. So I guess these are his socks now, unless I want to frog them, which maybe I will, but I don't know. I was kind of sad about it. But I guess if I knit them again with less stitches, they'd be faster. They've also been worn once. They kind of have some junk on them. But yeah, I liked how this yarn worked up. I mean, kind of. I guess it was, what did I knit them on? I knit them on a US 1, or I think I said 1mm needle earlier. I meant a US 1, and it's a 2.25mm needle. Did these on magic loop. I usually do 9-inch circulars, but I think I've been reconverted to magic loop, especially with the heel. It's just easier and it's kind of faster, honestly. Like, it's easier to do without looking magic loop than, honestly, the 9-inch circulars. You kind of have to look the whole time. But I also haven't tried the ones that are asymmetrical, where one of the needles is longer than the other, so I don't know. But yeah, it kind of gave these stripes, which I don't mind, but I think I was kind of hoping that the colors wouldn't pool quite like that, like the pink and purple together and the red and yellow together, because the red and yellow are very aggressively stripy. I was kind of hoping maybe it would pool as like the pink and yellow and the red and purple or something like that. I don't know. I guess I'm not a huge yellow fan, I think I'm realizing. I don't mind it too much in things. I think I just don't like yellow, which I was never really a yellow hater, but as I'm getting older, I'm not like looking at yellow flowers like the daffodils I can see out my window and thinking I hate yellow. I just am not usually going to choose yellow. I have pieces of yellow clothing in my closet. I don't know. Just not my fave color, I guess. Yeah, so I don't know, mixed feelings about how it pooled. And then once I did the heel, like it stopped being stripy for whatever reason, kind of. Which one was it? Oh, this one. This one is totally like just pink and purple on the back and then a lot of red and yellow on the front. I don't know if you can see that, but it's pretty significant. And I was kind of surprised it didn't do that as much on the other one, but it doesn't matter that much. They're just socks. They can just be house socks. I don't really care. Maybe I'll unravel them and redo them, but they don't have any nylon in them. And they're not super washed, so I don't know how long wearing they'll be. Like I said, it's a Flegel heel, which I kind of like looked at a couple free patterns and also just made it up based on what I was doing. I probably need to buy a pattern because I kind of don't seem to totally have it down, but I do like that heel better. The toe up was really nice because I could figure out how long I wanted the cuff to be without like thinking about yarn or anything. So yeah, those are an experiment. They were interesting. The other thing I have for a finished object that I had not finished or not even started in my last podcast is my cardigan number 9. I'm trying to decide if I should button it up. Maybe I'll button it up. Oh my gosh, this button doesn't go very well. Did I buy buttons that were too big? So in the last video, I showed at the end for my acquisitions a sweater that I bought to unravel for yarn, and I did that, and I have a series up on how to do that and like a couple other things that go along with that I think will help make it easier. But I was so excited about that yarn because it was so beautiful that I very quickly, because it was kind of like an Aran weight, close to bulky weight yarn, I knit up the cardigan number 9, which literally came out like the day after I finished unraveling this. So I was looking for a cardigan. I wanted something that was kind of jacket-like. I wanted something that was simple. I wanted something that was a little oversized so I could wear over things, and this checked all the boxes. I was also interested in the chorizo cardigan by Typical Bliss, but she's got that in testing and I wanted to cast on right away, so this was the other option, and I absolutely adore how this turned out. It is so beautiful. It's great for right now. Motorcycle, sorry. It's great for right now in the springtime when like I'm not always going to throw on a full jacket. I can throw this on and I'm not going to get super hot because I can leave it open or I can close it if I think it's going to be kind of chilly. This was knit on, where did I write it? Oh, right here. It's knit on US 8 or 5mm needles. My gauge was probably a little bigger than what was recommended with this, so it did turn out a little more oversized than was intended, I believe, but I'm totally fine with that. I knit the size small, but definitely even with a slightly larger gauge than hers. I think, and that's just because of the yarn. I think the yarn was a little closer to a bulky weight than I had originally thought. I think the pattern, if you knit your correct size, like your true to size, size, didn't make any sense. If you knit the size that's recommended, you will definitely still have a little bit of an oversized fit. It's not like super tight. It's got this great saddle shoulder detail, which I had never done before, and a gorgeous collar, which you can't super tell in this yarn, but there's this really interesting like double knit. I don't know if you can see right there, there's like a bit of a bump because you do a little bit of double knit before you start the rib in a smaller needle, and it kind of gives it some sturdiness. I don't know, I really like it. I would have gotten so many motorcycles today. I don't know what's up with that. I probably would have gotten toggle buttons. I actually like the look of them on the cardigan, but they didn't have any at my local yarn store, so I just picked up these black buttons that I think they're kind of plasticky. I don't know, but they're nice. All the yarn for this is so beautiful. Like, I'll put a close up if you can't tell, but like, it's got speckles of literally every color. It's so beautiful. It's very like Noro vibes, but also marled with the black and like charcoal. I adore this sweater. I'm so obsessed with it. This is one of my favorite makes. Absolutely. Highly recommend this pattern. It's totally beautiful. So now works in progress. I kind of went, like I said, cast on crazy this month. I was feeling it. I was really, really in the zone. And one of the things that I cast on, which is all tangled, was I've been really thinking about all my stash yarn and projects for them, and a lot of them kind of clicked in my mind of what I wanted to do with them. And one of the stash yarns that I had was, I have a bunch of this unraveled cashmere yarn. This white one I put in a podcast recently because I unraveled it pretty recently, and it's probably a lace weight yarn, I'd say. And then this pink one I did a couple of years ago, and it was before I really kind of understood cashmere and yarns, and like how thin they can be. And this sweater I got it for $1. So I was like, oh, I'll just unravel it. And it's like a cobweb weight yarn. It's very, very thin. I guess I'd honestly call it cobweb. It's very thin, maybe a lace. So I was like, oh, together these would be cute. And I'd had the Cumulus tee pattern for a while, and I haven't knit it yet. I bought it a year or two ago now with the intention of knitting it. I just hadn't gotten to it. So I decided I'd cast that on, and I've joined for the body. Let me see if I can make this. It's on teeny tiny needles, so it looks very small. It also, my gauge is a little small. I think that is partially because I didn't steam this yarn or anything to make it not kinky. So it's probably kinking up a little bit in here. I think it'll definitely bloom quite a bit when it's blocked. And it may also just be a little small because of the yarn. I originally was thinking I'd just make a t-shirt, but I think it's not going to be quite as oversized as I'd like for it to be a cashmere t-shirt. So I think if I have enough yarn, which I believe I will, I'm going to give it long sleeves. And then I'll knit another Cumulus tee at some point. I would like to do it in knitting for all of pure silk, which I've not ever tried before. And it's not too many balls for this. And I just thought it'd be fun. I love knit silks. I love all the thrifted knit silk tops I have. So it'd definitely be something I'd wear. But yeah, so this has been a fun little project. It gives you this light pink. It's like kind of got light marling, but it's not too pink or too white. I'm happy to be getting these yarns out of my stash, because especially this one, I really did not know what I was going to do with it, and I'd kind of been considering getting rid of it. So I'm glad that I came up with something. But yeah, happy with this. Just another cashmere thing to add to the collection. So there's that one. And next I have another vanilla sock in the works, and I'm using scraps from my Monday sweater and leftover mini skeins. I think I'm probably just going to make socks with the rest of it because it's fun and I don't have that much, and I don't know, maybe I'll find something else. But this is another Fleegle heel. This one, like I said, oh, and that other, I'm trying to be more technical about these things. The Cashmere Cumulus tee is knit on US 2.5 or 3mm needles. This guy is knit on my big US 1 2.25mm needles. As you can see, it's It's kind of funny. Most of the strips are pretty much the same size. I used the pink first for the toe because that was exactly how much I had, and I knew it would probably equal just a toe. Yeah, so I have more scraps for a second sock. They might be they're going to be totally different though, but I don't really care. I mean, they're socks. I like knitting fun and pretty socks, but I've kind of been, to get my sock mojo back, I was like, you know what? I needed to stop trying to do the 52 weeks of socks because I start them and then they're so intense and they take so much effort that I don't finish them, when I really should just be knitting like a plain vanilla sock with this yarn that I have that I know I'll finish and I know I can wear. But yeah, I'm about to start the ribbing. I think I'm going to do it in a pink that I have. This sock is fitting much better when I tried it on than my other sock. Like I said, 58 stitches around. Another Fleegle heel that I made up on the fly. But yeah, these yarns are so pretty. I'm very happy with it. Also reinforcing my, I think, dislike of yellow with this color. I don't hate it, but like, I would pick that out for something, I guess. Oh, but the Fleegle heel also, I have a very, very high arch. And the Fleegle heel fits around my arch really well. And I always knit the heel flap socks, even though they're not as much, they're like kind of more annoying to knit with picking up the stitches because they just fit my foot better. The heel stayed in place. I found with short row heels, the heel does not stay in place. It wants to like shift down my foot because it doesn't have enough, I don't know, the way it's oriented behind my heel doesn't keep it on very well, but these do seem to fit pretty well that way. So if you have that problem too, I recommend trying a Fleegle heel if heel flap heels really are the only thing that fit you. And then I have two more whips. One is, oh my gosh, it's stuck. One is this traditional colorwork sweater that I'm knitting for my little brother. It's the Drops 52-19A sweater. Very fancy name. The bottom is kind of curled because it has a folded hem that gets sewn down later. So I'm trying to show you all the color work because it kind of bunches up. I don't have the needles on it right now because I was using the same needles for another project. I'm really happy with how this has turned out. I have a few more rows of, I think these are called the lice, to do before I it's all steeked. The armholes and this part, the clips right here, are steeked. So I have a couple more rows until I cast on stitches, I believe, for the armhole steeked portion. So yeah, it's been going pretty well. I mean, you have to catch floats in between all these stitches, all the colorwork rows, but you get 4 rows of knitting plain in between, so it's no biggie for me. I'm not like carrying it on the flat rows because that would just be way too much work. Way too much time and effort. It's knit on US 4 or 3.5 millimeter needles. It's knit in the Drops Charisma, which is the recommended yarn for this pattern. It's superwash wool. Sorry if I bumped that. I haven't used this before. It's kind of an interesting feel. Like, I know the like hand-dyed superwash I felt before is a lot softer. This isn't scratchier, I would say, but does kind of almost feel like plasticier. It's not the worst, but I probably honestly wouldn't use this again. I used it because it was like the best deal for, what was this? DK weight? Yeah, DK weight. I didn't want to use Drops Lima. I wanted to do it in a wool, not with an alpaca blend. But yeah, it's going pretty well. I pick it up and do a repeat every once in a while. I'm not like stressing myself out over it because he's not going to get to wear it till next winter anyways, so it might be a while. It's kind of a longer term project. And that is it. Plugging along on that one. And then my last work in progress that I cast on this morning is my first spring summer knit. I had this paint box cotton DK that I bought last year in, I don't remember the color. It's like this green color that's almost tealy. That's really pretty. I'll put on the screen what the name is because I don't remember. I don't have the label on this one. And I cast on the Colette Tee by Sari Norland. I've got one little repeat down with the cables and the eyelets. I'm loving this so far. This is the back. I'm really excited about this. I was looking at DK weight t-shirts and I wanted something kind of normal fitting. I didn't want something that was super tight or super boring. I wanted something a little more fun. I wanted something that was more wearable. I love a lace yoke, but I don't love that it can be harder to wear like a bra under it without things looking through, which I guess this has eyelets, but I think it's fine. Yeah, I love how this is turning out. It's working up really nicely. I'm very excited about it. I'm definitely going to keep cranking along on this one today because it's a really pretty pattern. And I love Sarah Norland's patterns. And I probably will want to knit her sweater version of this after. And then this isn't an acquisition really, but it kind of is. This is this yarn from the cardigan number 9. I thought I'd show you the one that I have left. Not sure what I'll do with this because I have one full cake left, but I'm sure I will find something, whether it's mittens or whatever, in the wintertime. So that is all of my knitting. I have actually technically one more finished object, but it's a gift for a friend, and I know she watches this sometimes. She'll like go through and watch all my videos, so I don't want to show it and give it away, but I will take a picture so I can add it after I've given it to her, which will be in a few months because I knit it really early. And if she watches this, she'll know what I'm talking about, but she doesn't know what the project is, so I won't show you yet, but it's very pretty, and that was the other thing I was working on this month. So I'll show you the book I'm reading, and that is The Empire of Gold by S.A. I should have thought about this before. Chakraborty? That's the name. This is the third book in a series. The first one is The City of Brass. I highly recommend. It's a really fantastic story. I think there's 4 books. I think there's one more after this. It starts out in Egypt. I think this one is set more in Egypt too. It's like starts in Egypt and then goes into like an alternate world that doesn't really exist, obviously, in kind of like a Middle Eastern type setting. It's a very, very, I've read a lot of very bingey books and I enjoyed them and they were great, but I've been looking for more books that are a really excellent story that aren't as bingey. I feel like I can put them down and move on with my life without just constantly being consumed with what's going to happen next, but then I pick them up and I'm still just as entertained. There are definitely books that kind of swing too far in the other direction that I've tried that I really just am not, I'm like slogging through them. I still want to be having a good time as I'm reading it, but this has been a really good balance for me. Like not too bingey, but still an excellent story. It's got Jin, Djinn, and so it's like a magical world with a human girl that gets pulled into it that has magic powers. But it sounds cheesy. I know we all sound cheesy talking about these books, but it is so excellent. There's a good heft to it, which I like a good big book. Technically science fiction, I guess, according to my library. And yeah, I've really enjoyed it. It's a really good book. Excellent world building. Really good character development. I really enjoyed them. They're very well written and I highly recommend. Yeah. So that's what I've been reading. If you're not interested, sorry about that. I don't know, it's what I've been doing lately. Instead of watching TV, I've been knitting and reading. A lot of my Kindle too, but that one I got faster as a book from the library, which support your local library. But thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this. You can find all my links to my Ravelry, my Instagram, all that down below. And if you enjoyed this, please give me a like and a subscribe. I really appreciate it. Really help me out. I've been having a great time making this. So I hope you do that if you enjoy. So thank you so much for joining me and have a great day.